We continue our broadcasts on this beautiful, on this blessed day of Jum'ah. And we're talking now about an upcoming event, Letter from Gaza to the World. And for those who attended the Matt Gilbert event in Durban, it was a deeply touching moment when this book, Letter from Gaza to the World, was handed to Dr. Matt Gilbert. And this is what we want to talk about because this is in collaboration with Africa Muslims Agency and Youth for Humanity, shining a spotlight on an upcoming event. And again, these are fundraising events that are being hosted right across the entire country. And once again, innovative in more words than one, but also in terms of a meaningful, immersive experience. And this is the reason why we are talking to one of the coordinators of the event. We're talking with Zahra Tayyib. Zahra, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jummah Mubarak to you and welcome.
Wa alaikum salam. Jummah Mubarak to you and your listeners.
Zahra, if you could just move around slightly, I think we are losing you a bit and possibly a signal strength issue. But just to continue and to put into perspective what this event is all about, just some overview. And also, we just want to talk briefly about a letter from Gaza to the world.
Okay, Jazakallah. I'm not sure if your listeners heard my greeting, so if you didn't, assalamu alaikum to everybody. So I just want to give a brief overview of what's happening on the 20th of December at 5:30 in Durban. So Alhamdulillah, AMA Youth for Humanity and a few other volunteers have collaborated to create this event. It's a solidarity event to raise funds for the people of Palestine. And the reason that this event is going to be a little bit different compared to the other solidarity events that have been happening across Durban is that it's going to be using the mediums of art, literature, storytelling, and film to create solidarity, to bring about awareness and to educate, especially the youth, with regards to what is happening in Palestine. I think everybody is very emotional about what is going on. And we're connecting across different mediums, but we decided that the children are being left out of this conversation in a sense, in more ways than one, So they do understand what is happening, but it's a very superficial understanding. And so by hosting an event that caters to these young people, hopefully their understanding of the conflict is going to deepen. They're going to be able to be more empathetic. They'll be able to relate to what is going on in Palestine at the moment, and they'll be able to be a part of it. And basically, the aim and the purpose of this is not just only to raise funds, but it's to create a lasting educational impact where children are now, there's a spark, that has been lit where they want to know, whether we like it or not. I think we all are activists. We all have to be activists. It's our role now as the forthcoming generation. And so hopefully this event is something that is going to spark that or light that flame of activism, create a sense of awareness, empathy, and education, inshallah. Oh, and then the letters from Gaza to the world. Did you want me to say something about
continue.
that? Sorry. Okay, so A Letter from Gaza to the World is a book that has been written in a poem form. And basically, it's sort of a documentary style record, if you would. And it was written subsequent to the October 7 attack. So it's a very current, up-to-date record of what is happening, written through the eyes of a teenage narrator, Sama. And she's narrating what is happening in Gaza as it is unfolding. And it's basically a cry for help. Look at what is happening to us. These are the things that we are going through, and you need to use your voice. So basically, that's just, if I could give you a very brief synopsis of the book, that is what A Letter to Gaza is about.
Well, that briefly obviously explains the inspiration behind A Letter from Gaza to the World. Now, I see this event is taking place at the Sentosa coffee shop in Durban. And just to understand why the coffee shop was chosen for a setting for this event.
Okay, there's multiple reasons. I went myself and a few of the other coordinators who thought up this event. We visited the coffee shop, and firstly, it's a book lover's paradise. It's sort of, you feel like you're outside, but you're actually inside. So there's a beautiful marriage of they bring together outdoor elements and indoor elements in one space. We also know that we're appealing to this generation of children and youth who are very, very much aware of well, aesthetics are important, So it's very aesthetic, and that would be one of the draw cards to get. Unfortunately, it's gotten to the point where we have to create events around Palestine which give people an opportunity to take photographs and whatever it is. And so we want to appeal to the youth and try to bring them in that way. But besides that, it's just a beautiful venue. It's very peaceful. It's very serene. And one thing that stands out about the venue is that because we're holding the event at night. The coffee shop's not usually open at night, so we're holding the event in the evening because we want it to be a different, more intimate experience for the attendees who are going to come by. It's a very beautiful aesthetic space, and it's also a small area, So when we talk about like solidarity events like marches and whatever, we are connected, but there is a certain level of disconnect, because these events are very, very big. So this is a much smaller venue, and so I just really want, and the coordinators really, really want to create and foster the sense of solidarity and meaning, and that's pretty much the reason why we chose Sentosa.
Well, I think, it's actually getting very, very innovative. Just listening from what you are telling us, Zahra, and we see this right across the country where there have been many other innovative forms of fundraising and aimed at various people, various age groups as well, appealing to the youth. I know of one that's taking place on the 23rd of December that is aimed at young children in terms of cake decorating. So, obviously it puts us in very, very good stead in terms of reaching out and appealing to audiences. Now, I noticed you also spoke about literature, you spoke about storytelling that is at the heart of the event. And just in terms of these mediums, how will this aid in fostering a deeper understanding and also encouraging solidarity for the people of Palestine and the Palestinian cause?
Okay, I think as human beings, we connect through reading, we connect through literature, we connect through storytelling. I mean, even before there was the written word, oral tradition was something that was used, passed down, religious scripture and religious stories from generation to generation. So as human beings, it's like inbuilt in us that we connect via storytelling. And that is, I think, one of the reasons that the book was written as well, because storytelling is tangible. It lasts forever. It's universal. If you look at what the set books in high school are, these are children are studying Shakespeare, and they will continue to study Shakespeare because of the relevance, because of the universality of the themes and all of that. So storytelling is a very powerful medium. The old adage, the saying, the pen is mightier than the sword. I think in this particular context has never been truer. And really, I feel like in terms of this whole battle that's happening right now, playing out between our eyes, it's happening on two fronts. There's what's physically happening on the ground in Gaza, and then there's this battle of words and stories and narratives. And right now, the broader picture is that we are fighting a narrative. And, if we're leaving the storytelling to the other side, we can see the impact that is having. So we need to take the reins and we need to tell the stories, because this is our story to tell. I think we've given them enough chance to tell stories. I really do. And they've overpowered that arena. And now it's our time to take that back. So on the day, we're going to have, it's a very short program, because, we don't want to keep people too long, but it's going to involve a showing and a reading of the book, A Letter from Gaza. And the book will be projected up, because if you can see via the pictures tell a story on their own. So the pictures accompany and complement the text. Then we will have basically Youth for Humanity, who coordinated the Roses for Palestine event. And that was a very beautiful, touching event. And it really touched people. People connected with that. And they will be there doing the same thing, and they will be giving people an opportunity to write about what is happening and write their feelings down. And hopefully later on we could possibly compile it into another book, and that could be, a letter from South Africa to Gaza. The possibilities really are endless. And I will be screening a very, very short film. I won't give away the subject matter, but again, it's about education. Many of us, children are not involved in this conversation at the depth and at the level that they should be involved in. And so these films, or this film, will basically try to explain to them in a very simplistic but a very moving way, in a context that they understand, of what is exactly happening in Gaza. Why is this place so important? What is happening? What's the history behind it? And if you read my book, if you read the book, you'll find that the story does seek to explain, historically what happened in Palestine, and why it is the way that it is happening. So
Yes,
those three
and
meetings.
also,
We'll also be having. Sorry.
yes, Zahra. In fact, I know you spoke about the film screening as well, but also looking at just moving away from Gaza and the setting up of fake military checkpoints, because we know what is playing out in the West Bank, and these are people. The West Bank are mainly affected by these military checkpoints on a day-to-day basis as well, and just to understand the impact that this will have on people who attend the event, and particularly the younger audience, to inform them, to educate them, so that they can actually get to grips with the reality of these military checkpoints.
I was watching a documentary video this morning on Al Jazeera, and basically in Hebron, the reporter was taking us through, or taking the viewer rather, through what happens in Hebron, and how the people there who are living in under an occupation, basically their movements are so restricted, just to go from one street to another, there are checkpoints. And so we take our freedom for granted here. We really, really do. We do not understand the courage that it takes to live in those conditions. One of the Palestinian woman in the video mentioned, nobody would be able to last a week here. And the closest example I could give of that is during COVID, when we had the army patrolling and we had checkpoints. You're feeling anxiety, you're feeling tense, and this is just to check if you have a flu. Imagine living in this time, or in an area or a place where every single movement is governed. So we all know, from all the information now that we've been gathering, that this is also a psychological warfare. They're inflicting psychological tactics to try to terrorize and to try and subjugate a population. And so the idea is that it connects with what Youth for Humanity is doing. So after the attendees will obviously go through the checkpoint, they will then write about that experience. And this is not to terrorize or traumatize anybody, but it's just to create a visual reminder. And I also just want to say something, with regards to a lot of the solidarity events and the one that we're organizing, including that. I just want people to understand that this is not entertainment. It's not for you to come here and just have a good time. It is a very, very, very important event to attend. It's a very important event to attend. And I just wanted to really get that message out there, because, we're having these events all the time, continuously. And I just somehow feel that perhaps maybe the purpose can get lost. And just to put out something, caution. We're attending these events. We should also correct our intention for why we're attending these events. It's not for entertainment. We will have film screenings, we'll have art, we'll have opportunities for writing. But I really urge anybody who's attending, not just this event that we're planning, but any of the events, that, it should be attended with a level of seriousness and dignity, because we need to understand why we're attending them. Something that can get lost in translation.
Yes, and just finally, you couldn't have chosen someone better than Dr. Lubna Nadvi as a guest speaker, because I'm sure there would be key messages, there would be some deep insights into what Dr. Lubna Nadvi, through her experience, through her knowledge, will actually bring, and particularly, resonating with young people, with teenagers. And I'm sure that this is where the book is also targeted in terms of an audience, young people and teenagers.
Yeah, sure. So Dr. Nadvi actually wrote the book. And so it's coming around full circle, where she will be presenting a few words at the event. I think in terms of expertise, Dr. Nadvi is one of the leading speakers in South Africa on the Palestine issue. She also spoke at the Palestine 101 course that was held in Durban a week or two ago. I really, really think that she will be the perfect fit for this event and for the program, because she'll be able to answer any questions. She'll be able to speak at the level of the young people who are attending, and she'll be able to share her wide knowledge. But more importantly, that spark that I was talking about, in terms of activism, she will be able to talk about how best we can show solidarity with the people of Palestine.
Well, Zahra, Jazakallah khairan so much for that. And I've seen on the poster, it's taking place next Wednesday, which is on the 20th of December, taking place at the Sentosa Coffee Shop, 344 Florida Road, Morningside, 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Jazakallah so much for coming on, for sharing what you have with us this morning right here on Salam Media. We wish you well for the event, inshallah.
Exactly.
And more importantly, in terms of the objectives that need to be achieved, the aims and the objectives, and the ultimate aim is working towards the freedom of our brothers and sisters in Palestine and the liberation of Palestine. But for now, have yourself a wonderful Jummah ahead as well. And once again, Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam, Jazakallah.
Zahra Tayyab with us, one of the coordinators of this event that is taking place in Durban. So take note that it is taking place next week, Wednesday, at the Sentosa Coffee Shop.